What's up guys, and welcome back to Pokemon Arcade for another guide video on Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. My name's Jordan, and today we're going to be going over everything a beginner to breeding needs to know to get started. To get started with Pokemon breeding, you're going to need to know where a Pokemon nursery is, and you're in luck because in Pokemon Sword and Shield there are two nurseries. One is here at Route 5, and one can be found in the wild area in Bridge Field, which thankfully in the post game you can unlock the ability to fly between the two Pokemon nurseries. Once at a nursery, you'll need Pokemon in order to breed. There are specific breeding groups within Pokemon, and if you want to know more about specific types of breeding groups, if you're not going to do the method I'm about to talk about, you can go check out Cerebi.net and thank Joe Merrick for compiling all that info. But I'm going to recommend that if you want to breed, either competitively or for shiny Pokemon, you will want to get a very high IV Ditto, which we'll go over IVs in another video. Find that on the channel as well if you're interested and you need to learn about it. And you'll also want it to be a foreign Ditto, ideally, because then you have both in one. A foreign Ditto increases your shiny odds, and you can learn more about that in our Pokemon Shiny Hunting Guide for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And it also means that if you have good IVs, there's a way to help pass those IVs down to get stronger inherent Pokemon. And I will now demonstrate putting Pokemon in the nursery for you guys. So you can select the Ditto, and I'll select this Eevee here. And it'll cost $500 per Pokemon, but I can just give them to a daycare employee. They'll make their hand gestures, and then they'll take them in. And it's as simple as that. We're now technically breeding Pokemon. And if this is as far as you want to take it, you are totally inclined to do so, but we'll get into a little bit more detail here in a minute. So there's a little bit to breeding when it comes to who you're breeding and what you're looking for. I suggest breeding with a Ditto because a Ditto can breed with basically any Pokemon that can breed. I'm not aware of any that it can't match with. And as you can see, we just put that Eevee and a Ditto into the nursery, which means we'll be able to get Eevees. When breeding with a Ditto, you'll never get a Ditto. Dittos can't breed with themselves. Legendaries can't breed. But Ditto can breed with literally any other Pokemon, and you will always get that Pokemon. Usually in its most basic form. There are some examples of Pokemon that evolve from, usually they evolve with friendship, but usually when you breed them, like Mr. Mime, you'll get a Mr. Mime unless you give it a certain item to get you a Mime Jr., and we'll go over that later in the video. So why would you want to breed in Pokemon Sword and Shield? Well, there's about 3 reasons. You're going to want to complete your Pokedex, and sometimes breeding for Pokemon that you've already caught later evolutions of can help you without having to catch others. You're either doing that, shiny hunting, or maybe you're trying to breed for a competitive Pokemon because you have a little bit more control over their stats when breeding. Well, we're going to go over those one at a time, and then we're going to go over how you can breed in the easiest ways possible. So to start out your breeding journey, there's a couple of things you're going to want to grab. You can get the Oval Charm over here in our key items. Scroll down to it. The Oval Charm from Game Freak's Morimoto in Sirchester. I'll show you where that is here in just a moment. But what this is going to do is increase the rate at which you receive eggs from the Pokemon journey, from the Pokemon nursery, because you're going to want to hatch as many eggs as you possibly can, which means you also need to get those eggs. And to help you hatch those eggs, there are a couple of Pokemon that are going to help you out. And those are going to be Pokemon with the Flame Body or Steam Engine ability. Let's scroll over here in my boxes and find ourselves a Colossal. Where's he at? Here he is. So I have here Colossal with Flame Body and Carkol with Flame Body. Both of these Pokemon can also get the Steam Engine ability, but if you put them at the head of your party when you're hatching an egg, that egg will hatch twice as fast. Other Pokemon with this ability also include the Chandelure line, but since these are readily available as Roly-Colies and sometimes Carkols in the Galar mine, they're going to be a good help to you guys. So now, let's take a quick trip over to Sirchester, and I'll show you where to get that Oval Charm. So when you fly to Sirchester, you'll be dropped at the Pokemon Center, and if you come just to the east a little bit, you'll come to the circle with all the hotels. And if you go into the hotel here on the left up to the 2nd floor, we will be well on our way to finding this Oval Charm. Please note, to get the Oval Charm, you have to have defeated Leon and become the champion, though you don't have to have completed post-game. If you come up here to the 2nd floor and go to the first door on the left and talk to this officer, you will proceed to fight him in a double battle, and if defeated, he will provide you the Oval Charm, and you'll be hatching those eggs super fast. Now for competitive Pokemon breeding, you're going to be very interested in getting a Pokemon with a particular set of IVs. The first step to this is making sure both parents have really good IVs, preferably 5 or 6 IV Pokemon if you're looking for a perfect Pokemon. Sometimes you'll want lower for a Trick Room set or something like that, but we'll probably go over that in a later video. In order to help you get the best IVs you possibly can with the least amount of chance involved, fly to Hammerlock to the central Pokemon Center, go inside, and then go over here to the right and talk to this person from the BP shop. You can come in here, and for 10 battle points, which is 5 1 battles at the battle tower or one of the reward levels if you're still going through the tiers in the battle tower, for 10 BP you can purchase a Destiny Knot. And when a Pokemon holds a Destiny Knot, rather than getting 3 random IVs from a parent, how it normally works, you have a chance, well, you're guaranteed to get at least 5 IVs from those 2 parents. So instead of having a 3 out of 12 chance, because there's 6 IVs per parent to get the IVs you want, you will definitely get 5 of them. So basically, if you have 2 perfect Pokemon that breed, especially if one's a Ditto, it doesn't matter what they are, but get a Ditto. If you have 2 6 IV Pokemon, you'll be guaranteed, if one holds a Destiny Knot, to get a 5 IV Pokemon out of that breeding match. If you're really breeding for competitive Pokemon, you'd probably like to also have some control over the nature of that Pokemon. Well, the first step, again, is going to be getting a parent Pokemon with the nature that you would like. Now, if the Pokemon that you're breeding with has good IVs and a nature, then you're practically set. But what you're going to want to do is grab an Everstone, because if one parent is holding an Everstone, then the baby of whatever breeding pair it is guaranteed to have the nature of the parent holding the Everstone. And if you want to find that, you can come right down here towards the Turffield Stadium. It's actually not down here, it's over here just to the right. You'll fly to the Pokemon Center and you will come over here and go down this path, and the Everstone will be right over in this area, and you'll be good to go. Just give that to your Pokemon and get every nature you want, any nature you want every single time. Alright guys, so if you're trying to complete your Pokedex by breeding, you're going to have a little bit of a help when it comes to getting some of the baby Pokemon like Mime Jr. and Bonsly, because in order to get those Pokemon by breeding, for example, a Sudowoodo would need to hold a certain incense in order to give a Bonsly in an egg and not just another Sudowoodo. So fly to the Hulberry Pokemon Center and ride down here to the right until you come to this little area. In here, you can go up to this shop, and this shop happens to sell every incense you'll need. In this case, the rose incense will be used for Roselia and Roserade to give you a Budew. Let's go through all of them. The full incense will, on a Snorlax, will give you a Munchlax. Wobbuffet with a Lax incense will give you a Wynot. Sudowoodo with a Rock incense gives Bonsly, and Mr. Mime and Rhyme with an Odd incense will give Mine Jr. And Mantine with a Wave incense will give you a Mantike. I hope that's helpful. I'll try to get some sort of chart up on the screen, but if you can't find one, they're easy to find once again on Cerebi.net. That's where I go for a lot of this information as we're working through this, but I hope the video format has helped you guys. Now, we're going to go back and talk about a couple of things that there's not really a gameplay interactive element to, but a couple of other things that could be helpful when it comes to breeding. So I'll see you guys in a second. So when it comes to competitive breeding, again, you might want a Pokemon to have a specific ability, but some Pokemon species have multiple abilities. Well, some stats you're going to want to know about that are that a baby Pokemon has an 80% chance that if the Pokemon's mother is the same species as it, it will know whatever that mother's ability is for that ability. Hidden abilities on either parent will have, if the baby Pokemon can learn it, will have a 60% chance of passing down from the mother, but males and genderless Pokemon have the ability to pass that ability, but only if they're bred with a Ditto. Otherwise, that ability is always going to come from the mother. Lastly, there are 2 other things we're going to go over that you might be interested in knowing about breeding. The first one is going to be, what Pokeball is my Pokemon going to be in if I didn't catch it? Well, let me tell you guys, if you have 2 Pokemon of the same species breeding, you'll have a 50-50 chance on whatever ball the parent is in being the Pokeball that new Pokemon is going to be in. If they're in the same type of ball, obviously you have a 100% chance it's going to be that type of ball. But if you're really into the aesthetics of your Pokemon, maybe this is important to you. However, please note that if you are breeding with a Ditto, it will copy the same species parent every single time. Also may be helpful for the aesthetics. Beyond that, the other thing you're going to want to know are egg moves. This can be relevant and competitive, or maybe even if you're just really into the main series of the game, but I'm not going to get too into specific egg moves because they're going to be different for every Pokemon. However, the concept is that when a baby Pokemon will hatch at level 1, it will usually have a certain moveset, but can sometimes know moves that it wouldn't be able to learn through its normal level up, or at least not at level 1. So, the way this is going to work is if a father Pokemon knows a TM or TR move the baby can learn, the baby may know that move upon being born. And if a baby Pokemon can learn a move that both parents already know later on in the game, it may be born with that move prematurely, so it can become stronger at a lower level. There are also some moves Pokemon can only learn by being hatched, and those are the true egg moves. You can find those on Cerebi.net. For more specific details on what egg moves are on which Pokemon, again, check Cerebi.net, and thank Joe Merrick for his hard work on that. Alright guys, I know that was a ton of information, but we've gone over basically everything you need to know about getting started with breeding in Pokemon Sword and Shield specifically, and that'll help you with your shiny hunting, with your competitive Pokemon, with your Pokedex completion, all sorts of things. Or maybe you just really like Sobble and you want 100 Sobbles and you just wanted to know how to make an egg. If so, you probably didn't make it this far, but if you did, thanks for watching. My name has been Jordan. This has been the Pokemon Arcade. Smash the like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you guys back here next time. Peace.